What's this? A letter for me.
As you guys know, I do my in memoriam videos I started that. That was what started my channel. If you haven't had a chance to check out my in memoriam videos, I will link them, at the end of this video. I'll stick one, or you can, check one up here in the corner. But the way I came up with the name for my channel, Remember the Great Sports, was I wanted to recognize those sports athletes that we have lost. And they've passed away. We've forgotten them. And, I don't want their memories to be lost. That's why I created this channel, to continue the memories of some of the great ball players in whatever sport they're in, and put this together sort of as like a video diary, so that their families one day may, type in their name into YouTube and they find them and they realize that their memory is still continuing. One of these individuals I'm about to share with you, I have a very sentimental story, and it's, gut-wrenching to know what happened, because I actually had met this ball player when he was in the minor leagues. And I'll save that story for last. But all of these certified autographs that I'm about to show you are all of individuals that have passed away. But because I compile these in memoriam videos, when I was going through this guy's inventory, I started noticing people that have passed away. These individuals aren't signing anymore because they've moved on and passed away. So the first one I'm going to share with you is a NBA player for a brief period, and I believe he played for Syracuse University, and that is Melo. Melo played very briefly in the NBA, played for Syracuse University, like I said. He passed away last year. I believe he had cardiac arrest, if I'm not mistaken. And when I was putting my in memoriam video for NBA or basketball together, I noticed that he had moved on. Very young. It's a shame that we lost him. Actually, all of these men were very young. And so Melo. I'll just leave these all on the screen as kind of like a tribute to these guys. This next one, I never had an opportunity to meet, but I've only heard positive things about him from other collectors. And this is I believe a 2010, 2008, and this is a Donruss Threads signed by Andrew LeFave. Andrew LeFave was a minor league player. He, I believe, had to retire because of an illness that he came down with, and he actually passed away this past year as well, I believe. And it was a shame that happened. And if you want to learn more about him, in his playing career, please click below. This next individual was a pretty highly touted prospect for the Pittsburgh Pirates that you probably don't know about, because in the off season one year he passed away, and he had a heart issue, and that is Evan Chambers. The Pirates selected Evan. He was rapidly moving through their system. I want to say he made it all the way up to Double-A. He was a third-round pick, and during an off-season one year, between the minor league baseball season and spring training, he passed away at his home due to an illness with his heart. So he is no longer with us as well. And again, if you want to learn more about his playing career, he was taken from us during his playing career. Please click below and definitely check that out. This next individual also was lost during the off season, between a minor league season and a spring training. And this guy was a very rapid mover through the Seattle Mariners organization. He was going to be one of their top pitchers. On the back of his card it actually says, the most heralded pitcher signed by Seattle out of Venezuela since Felix King Hernandez, or King Felix Hernandez. And that is Victor Sanchez. And tragically, Victor Sanchez had a boating accident in the off season one year. Pretty gruesome boating accident, from what I understand. And I want to say that he reached as high as AA, maybe even AAA, and he was right on the cusp to being an impactful pitcher in Seattle. Very good ball player in the minor leagues. Pitched a no-hitter, I believe, when he was in Clinton, Iowa. I never had the opportunity to meet Victor. I regret that I didn't get to go to a Clinton Lumber Kings game that year. I usually hit at least one game a year, and that was a year that unfortunately my schedule didn't work and I couldn't go there. So again, let's remember Victor Sanchez and keep him in our memories, and definitely Google his name and see what you can find out about him. Now this next one is a very sad story. This is something that is very common. It's an affliction that's spreading across our country. Many politicians are running on the platform that they're going to try to help with this problem. I don't see how one politician can do that. But it's going to take a lot more than one public official to make policy to help this epidemic. And what I'm talking about is the opiate epidemic. People overdosing on prescription drugs and basically losing their life. And this individual, Tyler Hibbs, who, as you can see, was a highly touted prospect, played on Team USA, lost his life this past year to opiate addiction. He had some run-ins with the law. He had some other issues, and eventually he could not conquer his demons, and we lost him last year, I believe. Now this final one, this is probably the one that hit hard for me, because I actually met this young man when he was playing, and this is former Minnesota Twins prospect Hank Sanchez. And he went by Hank because his father was also Henry Sanchez. And the reason I know this is I was autographing one time in Beloit, Wisconsin, and there was a gentleman with a camcorder. And this is circa 2005. I don't remember what year off the top of my head when he was in Beloit. But he was moving his way up the Twins organization. He was like a second or third round pick, so he was a pretty important pick. And this guy was walking around with a camcorder. And I walked up to Hank, and I asked him to sign some cards. And this guy recorded me signing his cards. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm just getting this guy's autograph, and you're recording me. Well, it turns out that this gentleman was Hank Sr. This was Henry's father, Hank Sr., and he was recording fans getting autographs from his son. Again, this is single A. So this is probably his first full season in the minor leagues, and his father was so proud that his son had made it to professional baseball. And he was so proud that people were asking for his autograph. So somewhere in the Sanchez family, there's a video footage of me and my wife getting autographs from Hank Sanchez. I don't want to talk too much about what happened to Hank, but he didn't succeed as much as he had hoped on the baseball field. And he wound up retiring pretty much prematurely before he was able to really succeed on the baseball diamond. Hank passed away as he was, in the last few years from cancer. He was not even in his 40s yet, and he was diagnosed with cancer, and it basically took him away from his family at a very young age. He had already retired from minor league baseball. He, was not going to make it to the majors. He accepted that fact, and he was moving on with his life, and cancer just ate away at him and took his life. So, in closing, the reason I bought these cards wasn't because I saw a high collectible value in these. I did this to create this video to remember these guys. To not let their memory disappear. So if anybody from any of these families happens to see this video, I want you to know that I'm trying to keep their memory alive. And if you would like any of these cards, please let me know. I know this is kind of a sad edition of Through the Mail Thursdays, but I'm also going to make this a in memoriam video as well. So please stay tuned here at the end for a brief homage to these 6 men that were lost, and take the time to really read about these guys and look at their baseball numbers, Google them, read about them, and let's not forget who they were and who they are. So, thank you for joining me for another episode of Through the Mail Thursdays. Please enjoy this tribute to these 6 men.